Hi, everybody. I've got the beautiful Sarah Richards here with us today. She's an incredibly powerful light worker. She works with animals and humans, and she does this most beautiful light work. She gets these powerful healings just by pulling light into the body. She's been a healer since she was a little girl, probably for lifetimes and lifetimes. And I'm so grateful that she came and did some work with us with Medical Intuitive. I'm going to let her introduce herself a little bit more to you guys as well, and then we're just going to let things flow. Hi, Sarah. Welcome.
Hello. Um, wow, it's been quite a life of struggle and suffering. I've always known that I was here to help animals and humans. Um, but it was just I was just crippled with fear, absolutely crippled with fear. And I used to hide behind everyone. But it came to about 2017 when I just had enough of life. And it was thanks to my dogs that I didn't sort of get in a car and end my life. It
Oh,
was just
Sarah.
like, it was just like, you know, whatever I do, I knew I was here to heal. And whatever I did, I knew that I wouldn't succeed, as in ending my life, because I was here to help people and animals. So, thanks to my little boys at the time, I decided to start my healing journey. And I started with Reiki and became a Reiki practitioner. Then, thanks to the master attunements of Reiki, they opened me up to all past lives when I didn't actually believe in past lives at the time. So that was quite a shock. First flashback was me being burnt at the stakes, which was interesting,
Fun.
especially when no one else sort of was experiencing anything like it. And then theta healing came in. So I started theta healing to clear all past lives, and energetically, I was way in front, but physically, I was way behind. And I so wanted to help people, animals, but I just couldn't do it. It just, something was stopping me. And it was the body. It was literally the body. And then access consciousness came in, and the access bars were amazing. The body process were amazing. So in the end, I became certified in Reiki, certified in theta healing, and certified in access bars and body processes. But still, I couldn't get out there. I really could not get out there. And then all of a sudden, on my Facebook page, Sky popped up with this Medical Intuitive Mastermind. And I kept looking at it, and, it just wasn't going away, really wasn't going away. And I read all the info, and it was,
The angels in
practitioners
the
who are,
algorithm.
yeah, practitioners who are already out there. I'm thinking, but I'm not out there. I can't do it. I really can't do it. And a friend of mine said to me, just contact Sky, have a discovery call. What's the harm in it? So that's what I did. Knowing full well that you were fully booked out for, weeks. And I contact you, and that afternoon you reply and say, how about tomorrow? A cancellation's just come up. And I thought, whoa, is this real? Anyway, that was what, December 2022.
Mhm.
So we had a chat, and I just knew I had to be on the course. Unfortunately, finances were bad, really bad. So I didn't have the money to be able to do the mastermind. And you literally said to me, look, you're already a healer. Get out there, go and heal. Use your Reiki, use your theta healing. And I was like, and I remember you saying that, and all of a sudden this wall just came straight down. And, I was out of my body. And I was at a friend's house. And I went downstairs and she looked at me and she was talking to me, but I just wasn't registering because I wasn't there. It was just major shock, this isn't happening. And I had two friends who helped me write a bio, because he said to me, write a bio, put the prices down, send it to me, and then, you're ready to go. I couldn't even do that. So I had two friends who helped me with the bio, with meditate, getting me into meditation and, getting out of me what I could do. And then the other one wrote it all nicely for me. And I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. And that Christmas was literally a Christmas of hell, because at that point, I hated my body, because at that time, my body was my enemy. My body was stopping me from doing what I had to do in this life, what I was meant to do in this life. And it actually got to a point where I actually started to scratch my body to try and get whatever it was in my body out of my body. It was just, real enemy. And literally, I couldn't go that way for finances. So I just asked Creator, if there is really a God out there, I need a miracle. I truly need a miracle, because I need to be on this. I don't know why, but I need to be on this. I mean, I knew that medical healing or body healing was the thing for me. I knew I could do instant healings. And I knew this was my path. This was what was going to help me. But how I was going to get there, I didn't know. And okay, I had hoped to join the January cohort of 2023, but I didn't. But hey, I joined the October one. And what can I say? Huge transformation. And Sky, thank you so much, because thanks to you, I'm here. And I'm going to
I
not
think for
only that, but I've learned a new modality. I've cleared so much stuff, which no doubt we'll go into. And not only that, but it's actually because of clearing so much, it's actually allowed my true gifts to start to actually blossom, to come to life. So yeah, yes, I've got Reiki, yes, I've got theta healing, yes, I did other courses with regards to people, animals, trauma courses, DNA repair courses, vibrational tools, pendulum work. I work intuitively with crystals, and also advanced healing on full body realignment and Sara's release. So I've done all that. But thanks to this amazing, phenomenal course, all of a sudden something has been birthed out of me. And I still can't believe what I can actually do now, what I can actually witness. Yeah,
there's no words for what it's very hard to put what you've experienced into words because I went through a very similar thing when I first woke up spiritually, especially remembering the past lives and nobody knowing what you're going on about, but remembering them so vividly that it was like it happened a day ago or a couple of days ago.
yeah,
And that stuff was so locked into my DNA that I was similar to you in that I was doing everything else. I remember like the day after I woke up spiritually, I remember somebody giving me the Louise Hay book, You Can Heal Your Life. And I remember opening up to the pages with the illnesses and the descriptions and me going, this is what I'm supposed to do.
yeah,
And I couldn't do it till almost 10 years later because of these lives that were stacked there that were like, if I do this, some kind of harm is going to come to me.
yeah, yeah.
Right. And I call it past life PTSD.
And don't I know about it?
And it doesn't make sense unless you're a light being. You can clear it relatively like within 6 months normally, especially if it's a lot of lifetimes stacked. Um, but I remember that was the first one that I remembered. Um, and was literally me making a vow never to use my healing gifts again because my whole family had been harmed because of those gifts. And I was like, I'm never going to do it. You know, I can handle anything they do to me, but I can't handle my loved ones getting hurt because of this.
Yeah.
So it was only when that moved, and it's exactly what you said. It's like, really, I had to go to create. It's a miracle because I can't get over this by myself. Like, I can't, I even just remembering this puts me in so much spin,
Yeah.
right? Um, and the mir asking for miracles works. I mean, it really, really works because it puts something much stronger than you in control, right? But like it's your journey is incredible. And what you've done, like even the fact that you didn't give up, you kept doing different modalities, you kept looking until you found the answer. That is so brave. That is so insanely brave. Right? So, and you're so authentic with your story. You don't hold any of it back. You're not pretending you didn't go through hard bits. You're not hiding the parts of yourself that are actually going to really serve other people because they're going to think, I'm going through this and Sarah will get it,
Yeah. Yeah.
and she won't give up on me. And we're going to go through this together.
You know,
So
at the
it's
end of
so
the
powerful.
day, yeah, when I was going through it, there was no one. There was no one around. Um, yeah, there was no one. Um, what can I say? So that's why I share my story because I've been there and I've I've gone through it and I'm out the other side. And you know, if that gives hope to someone out there, then
It's going to give hope to more than someone. It's going to give hope to many
yeah,
people.
yeah.
I'd say for every one person that contacts you, there's three lurkers, right? That have been watching you for a while and going, can I trust this person? Right? Is this really my divine guidance? But they're watching and they're still getting the healings and they're still moving to a place where it's safe to receive, right?
Yeah,
So it's going to help people. It's
yeah,
especially with I think that's the grace of the online world is how many people you help that you never know you helped. Because if you were to count in your head how many people you've watched online or how many healings you've watched and they don't know your name, they would never know you'd watch that video.
yeah,
It's ridiculous. And we're in the same the other way around, if that makes sense.
yeah.
But I think there's still so much shame connected to receiving help,
Well,
right?
you know, during the time of not actually, everyone was saying, but you've done all these courses, you know, just get out there.
Mm.
And I couldn't. I just couldn't. I knew I could do it, but I couldn't. And I felt so stupid. And I felt ashamed. Mostly, I actually felt stupid. And, you know, that's why I ended up hating my body because it was literally, I've done all this work now. Energetically, I know I'm way in front. But body, you are holding me behind.
The
And
body and
that
mind, I
that
just
wasn't
think are so
true.
protective. No, it's not true. But it
No.
feels true when you're in it.
Oh yeah, it does. I mean, now my body is, you know, my best friend. You know, if something happens, it's like, okay, what belief have I got? What trauma have I got that needs to be sorted
I
now?
hate my body. Enter sky. I love my body.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, physical and energetically, I'm together now. And I feel so high vibe. And I'm just waiting
I
for,
want to slow it down here because I think so many people are going through the same thing. And I think this is one of the stories that's going to resonate and help so many, and bring so many of your chosen people to you because I I remember this, and I think so many of us hide this, but I remember first hating my body because it didn't look the way I wanted it to look. And
oh,
then
yeah,
hating my body because it was ill and it wasn't working the way that I wanted it to work. And I was like, well, why is mine a dud and everybody else has a good one, right?
yeah,
I was so angry. And then it was this energy of like confusion, like why am I even on this planet? Why do I even have a body at all? You know?
Yes.
And most people are hide that because they're told you should love your body. So instead of dealing with those feelings and allowing them to clear, they're, fighting or pretending it's not going on, kind of gaslighting themselves.
Yeah.
And when you actually face those fears, it moves. But the body and the mind are so like when the body's in pain, it's either protection or self-punishment. And both are very powerful programs,
Yeah.
right? And for your body, like my body, it was like, if you do this, then you're going to die like you did before.
Yeah.
Until we addressed that, it was like, I don't care how much you hate me. That's how much it loves you. It's like, I don't care how much you hate me. I'm not
Yeah.
getting out of your way.
And for me, it was many lifetimes of being sacrificed,
Yeah. The
which was,
sacrifice, the witch burnings, the what's it called? The persecution. These are the three core past life wounds, I think, that keep most healers trapped
yeah.
in not being able to give service because we'll do just enough. We might help 10 people or 15 but we won't let ourselves shine because we're like, this is what happens. And if we're real, because we do the real thing, there's still plenty of persecution in the world.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So it's not like we're dealing with this is in the past. It's just happened before. It's like otherwise Barbara O'Neill would never have had to move from Australia to the USA, right? Um, Joe Dispenza wouldn't have had to wait till he was huge to release, his success with healing people. Vianna Stibel wouldn't have had to leave Britain because the BBC was after her for saying she could heal somebody. So there's still persecution that goes on, and it takes a lot of courage to show up and decide that you're gonna do this work. It is ice cold courage. It's not anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It
We can
is.
pretend it's not, but it
I mean,
is.
yeah, it is. But it for me, it was so deeply ingrained that I had to do it. And I knew, I mean, I hit rock bottom a few times and thought about, ending it all. And it was just no, because because I know I'm here to do something. And I'm not leaving this planet. I'm not allowed to leave this planet until I've succeeded and helped those that I'm here to help. So, that wasn't an option. And thankfully, although there was a huge disconnection between Creator and I, thankfully, there were big messages coming up. You need to do this, you need to do that. Like Reiki suddenly appeared out of nowhere. So I did Reiki. That helped me get back on track.
Yeah.
And of course, the past lives came up, theta healing suddenly appeared. And then, it went, um, it continued. But yeah, I mean, well, not 6 months ago, 10 months ago, I was a totally different person. Um, Absolutely scared, crippled with fear, totally in denial that I had anxiety, which, of course, that suddenly came up with a huge bang within 2 weeks of the course, or was it 3 weeks?
You're like, help me.
Um, um, yeah, didn't realize I had medical trauma either. Um, I mean, for me, I didn't see that. Well, my journey has not been illness. My journey has been financial stress, struggle, suffering, and all the stress that creates health problems. But I didn't have an autoimmune disease or anything like that. But yeah, um, 3 weeks in, um, started really enthusiastically. Um, Interestingly, the first module I remember is the wounded healer, the wounded archetypes, wasn't it? The different healer archetypes. And I looked at it and I looked at the shamanic and I was like, huh, I'm not that. No, I'm not that. And of course, you gave us a quiz. And I've always been against shamanism because what an idiot to take on other people's illnesses and feelings. I mean, that's stupid, absolutely stupid. And of course, I did the quiz, and guess what? Top marks on shamanism. Suddenly thought, oh, okay, we have an issue here. And then I realized all my life I had been healing by taking on everyone's
Stuff.
stuff and transmuting it through my body, but then locking some of it into my body. You know, there were times that all of a sudden I get a shoulder ache. And I'm thinking, what's this all about? And then my mum would speak to my aunt. And then, you know, she'd say to, oh, Catherine's got a shoulder ache. And oh, okay. I'm healing my aunt. Thankfully, that has sort of stopped now. But then the next one was the feelings. You know, discreating, no, not feelings, discreating the emotions and creating whatever. And I was so overzealous with that. I was doing it, and all of a sudden, for 3 days afterwards, I was absolutely flat out. And I remember going on WhatsApp and you were saying to someone else, you know, take it easy. This is powerful. I was like, oh, I'm a bit. I zonked out for 3 days. Absolutely. You know. And then soon after that, the anxiety suddenly hit, didn't it? Well, it wasn't even anxiety. It was, what do you call it? Extreme debilitating anxiety. I had a flashback of the past life where I was sacrificed.
PTSD.
My heart was torn out. I had this terrible heart pain. And just because I've been discreating all these emotions, all of a sudden it was just like, boom. And this anxiety just came up. And you advised that I go and see a doctor. And that created an even bigger volcanic eruption.
You remember you were like, no. And I was like, okay, let's breathe. Like, let's breathe.
Just like, yeah, and it's like, well, I wasn't thinking straight at that point, but it was like, oh no, and everyone's against me, you know, all this. And I mean, now I realize no one was against me. But, yeah. So, yeah, we had extreme debilitating anxiety to the point that I couldn't even, I ended up having a support session with Hera.
Yeah.
Well, I was given the option either to get outside help because I needed extra help.
Yeah.
I mean, no way. Or have some sessions with either Hera or Rosie, the team.
Yeah.
And, you know, I looked at it and I thought to myself, well, if I go for outside help, that's just going to help me manage the anxiety. That's not going to get rid of it. But if I actually pay a little bit more, I know that the sessions will actually clear it.
Yeah,
So
Hera and Rosie and Indra, they're incredible. They really are.
yeah. So I had a session with Hera, and of course, and when I had the session with her, I'd written the stuff down because I couldn't even think straight. But when the session actually came, I couldn't even read what I'd written. That's how bad I was. I was just total wreck, absolute wreck. And I thought we were going to be addressing that sacrificial life. And of course, she did a scan on me and she said, you know, everything's taken away from you. And I sort of looked at her and I thought, oh, okay. Another past life came up. And within an hour, there was a huge transformation because I did have that belief of everything will be taken away. And the anxiety just suddenly
Gone.
gone. as we continued along the course, then we had more triggers, which, but it's an amazing course.
But so let's slow it down because there's people that are listening going, I don't know why. I know this, I've got the same thing, but I don't know why that would work. And it's because lifetimes stack just like belief systems. So when you are dealing with a lifetime, you might not be dealing with the original lifetime where this came up or the original issue that's causing the pattern. So when we train people to work with past lives around physical or mental health problems, we train them to go to the root lifetime or to ask for the root lifetime because believe it or not, the ones that come up first are the ones that are the easiest to handle,
Yeah,
right? Because they're increasing our capacity to embody the feeling and to hold that feeling before the other ones come up. And humanity is no joke. If you've had like more than 1,000 incarnations, it's no joke the things we've been through and the things that were just considered normal,
yeah.
right? Um, it's not a superficial thing. So when you start opening those up, especially when you look at lifetimes where we've been men and not just women, right? There's
Mhm.
so much strange stuff that goes on in war zones or in conflicts or that is really painful and difficult. So you have to go to the root lifetime. And never just go with what's coming. Always go with like ask to be taken. Like I said, you always ask for a miracle. You always ask God, what do I work on?
Yes. Yeah.
Right? Otherwise, we'll be here a long time
Yes.
chasing the red herring.
And interestingly for me, on all the MIT sessions, it was always past lives. And someone actually said to me, why is it always past lives for you and not in a child? And I knew because in a child, I didn't want to go there. I did not want to go there until yesterday, of course, when I had a session with you and I bawled my eyes out, absolutely bawled my eyes out. But
Look,
yeah,
if you look at let's look at Buddha, okay? Because I think Buddha is like one of the easiest ones to reconcile with this. When Buddha had his enlightenment, he wrote in the book, right, that he experienced the release of more than 300 lifetimes.
yeah.
When I woke up spiritually, it was the lifetimes that came first. And I think that there is an order to archetypes that's still slightly beyond my understanding. I haven't sat in and channeled through yet what the order is. But you choose your family, you choose based on your past life experiences,
Oh, yeah.
right? Because they've got all of the information to activate and actualize everything that you need to fulfill your potential in this life for better or worse. So it makes sense that you start where you start. And then when you're ready for the next, because inner child is not just our childhood, right? Inner child is every lifetime we've ever had, we've been a child,
Yeah.
right? And then it's got all the faces of like the invisible child, the golden child, the what's it called, the rebel. It's got all these different aspects that are not just from this experience.
Yeah.
You know, and people get just as stuck in inner child and just as stuck in mother and father as they do in past life because they're trying to work it out with their childhood or their mom and dad, and it's so much bigger, right? It's huge. So kudos to you for sticking to what was for your soul path and not getting sucked into everybody else's soul path. You do you, Sarah, right? You do you. And I think it's the other way around. I think most people are more comfortable with their inner child than they are with looking at the suffering of what came before. So most people don't remember their past lives until they have some sort of Kundalini awakening or spiritual awakening because A, they don't believe they exist, but B, they don't believe they could handle the pain of what happened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can understand that one with all the pain that I went through, especially with that sacrificial one. To
But the
the
truth is
point.
that when you get it, like when you get that you have been through all of that, right? And look at the mission to help people and animals, even though you went through all of that, and not just one lifetime, many lifetimes over, you still decided to come back.
Yeah.
You still decided to do your mission. You still decided to help people and to serve people. Like the kind of strength that that takes. Fuck's sake, Sarah. Like, come on. Like that is grace of monumental proportions. That is
I'm very humble when it comes to this.
true humble. Like this is like, look at this. It's look at how much love you have for humanity. Look at how much um like look at how much compassion, look at how much strength, look at how much courage, right? And nobody likes sacrifice, but it's like what you said when you're discussing like I'm literally willing to lay down my life so another being can thrive. There's some serious the word is grace.
Yeah,
The word is grace,
yeah, I
right?
accept that. Thank you. Yeah, yeah.
And then that is the miracle because then it goes to then like seriously, if you can do all of this, there's nothing, you're like an unstoppable force.
Yeah, I'm starting to, yeah, realize that now. Yeah.
I think today's like a breakthrough day. I had another friend who went through a very tough year last year because of a cancer diagnosis. And I got a message from her this morning saying similar to you, like, I'm starting to really feel like my true self now, and it feels magnificent. And I was sitting there going, go you.
Well,
Yes,
you
more
know,
of this. Yes.
I was I was so once we'd finished, graduated, I was so ready to get cracking. Well, no, not quite, because I needed to allow to integrate everything
Integrate, yeah.
because the course doesn't leave a stone unturned. It covers everything. Now, when I thought, by the time I got to the last months of the course, I thought, this is going to be easy peasy now. Last month, easy peasy, not a problem. Oh, my word. Probably, I mean, the first bit was my anxiety and everything. But the last bit was all the karma and all the religious stuff and the family stuff. And I finished it, and it probably took, after I'd finished, it was literally no more healing, no more healing.
It's true.
I need to allow all this to integrate. And I think for a month, I just didn't do anything. I just allowed everything to integrate.
Good.
And where am I going with this? I can't remember. Leaving it.
You
And
thought
then
that
once
it was
all
going to be
that
easy for
happened,
you.
oh, um, yeah, so then I was ready, I was ready to go. And then all of a sudden, just things around me were stopping me from doing it. And I was thinking to myself, what's all this about? I'm so high vibe. I've released so much, and all this crap is happening around me that's stopping me to actually move forward, which is why I ended up having a session with you yesterday. And lo and behold, I had dark energies trying to stop me doing what I'm here to do.
Oh,
So
because
now
of
that's all
the spiritual
cleared.
warfare in the course. The one stone.
You need to add that one in now.
Ah, it's fine, Sarah. For
Oh,
you. Send you the
I'll put it
module.
in the advanced because I'll be doing the advanced at some point. But yeah, um, now that that warfare has disappeared, all of a sudden things have just opened up for me over what, 12 hours, 24 hours, over 24 hours. Once again, I'm a totally different person now. It's the technique is so transformational. It's, yeah, just one session and it can change a lot, and not just energetically, but physically as well. because it releases, the trauma, the stuck emotions. It actually releases it from the body, which I haven't experienced that with any other modality. Every other modality is brilliant in their own right. But for my journey, this was the one that actually changed me,
You deserve to
transformed me,
cry.
and got me out. Yes, go on and cry. You deserve it because you're an amazing healer. And I can't thank you enough, because if it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't be on here now, and I wouldn't be about to go out there and help people and animals, which is something that I've wanted to do all my life. And I haven't been able to, because of the trauma and the fears and everyone else's traumas and emotions that I've had trapped in my body. But
Not
they've
easy
been
being a light
released
worker on
now.
Earth, is it? Not easy being a light worker on Earth.
No, it isn't, not really. But hey ho, we like a challenge, don't we?
Love it.
And now that I have my whole wonderful um, team of angels and creator, and the Palladians and the Andromedans have come, and the ancient Egyptian surgeons, they're here as well. So yeah, yeah,
It's an interesting one because the spiritual warfare thing comes up when you're in like astral, a fourth plane level, but also when you're in fifth plane. And you know, there's such a strong belief in this battle between good and evil. And we've had so many lifetimes where that was what we believed we were doing, fighting a battle for good and evil.
yeah.
And then um we forget because we're like in fifth or seventh plane. We're like it's not the highest truth, but when you're clearing energies in the earth with people that are still very anchored into that reality, both physically and on level of the soul, right? Um, it's relevant, and sometimes you do have to ask God and the angels to war on your behalf, to fight your battles for you, to move things, and it works,
Yeah,
It works a lot better than pretending it's not happening.
yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, it's funny because I bought this new card deck soon after the soon after the course, and the Underworld card kept coming out. So I was doing all this clearing, but it was still happening. I was like, what is going on? So that's
It's still bigger energies than us. So that's what's important to understand is that there's a lot of light and dark forces that are still much bigger energy than us.
yeah,
So when we're asking to move it from the human perspective or from our own strength, it's not an easy thing to do. Um, it's when you tap into that bigger strength that it becomes easy or effortless. But it's easier effortless because God makes it look that way, not because God didn't work his ass off to get it sorted.
oh yeah, 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 yeah. I
You know?
quite agree. But all my life I've just been trying to battle and fight it all my life. And of course, I've been exhausted by it. So instead of using my energy to be able to help people, I've been using it to battle this
For the battle, yeah.
invisible
This is very
dark
shamanic as well. I kid
force.
you not. I kid you not. This is very, very shamanic as well. It's very, very I would say shamanic and religious because there's not a religion you can go to that they won't talk about the battle between good and evil,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know? So the religious stuff, but yeah, you this is why it's at the end because you can't really reclaim all of your power until you reconnect to those spaces and pull it back because those were the places where our power was tested, right? Where it was initiated, where we
yeah,
realized just how strong God's power is,
yeah,
right? In those moments where you really realize that of my own strength, this would not have happened, right? I couldn't have done that. Like, it's not you. It's like you may have witnessed it, you may have held space for it, you may have been like a co-creation, but you couldn't have moved that mountain, you know?
yes, yes.
That's the moment where you sit there going, life is for me. Something actually does have my back, right? And it's not like a weak thing. It's a very, very strong thing.
But I was in tears this week, in absolute tears, because I so wanted to get out there. I was ready, but all this stuff was happening around me, delays, everything. It was just finances going downhill, and it was just, what is going on? And that's when I contacted you and said, help.
We were like, we're going to sort out the shitstorm. Don't worry.
I'm alive now. I
Give us
feel
an
so much
hour.
freer. Oh dear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not my first rodeo with this stuff. But I think I'm really, you see how I'm going with the flow. I let things come up that I think are going to really serve.
yeah,
But normally I don't talk on these topics because I think 9 times out of 10, there's a lot of people that get either very deeply triggered by it or they're feeding off of it. They don't really want to sort it out.
yeah,
The moment that you want to sort it out, I'm in. All right. But with this type of energy, you really have to let go and let something bigger than you move it. And the moment you do, it just moves.
yeah. It was incredible. I know, the whole room at the end of the session was just spinning. And I was so weak at the knees all day yesterday. It was sort of, I need my bed.
It's so good. Look, I remember when I first did theta healing and I came back from doing basic, advanced, and dig deeper, and I must have stayed in bed for 4 days, like just like you, to like, I need to integrate all this. I need to like ground down like right now.
Yeah, yeah. And every time got up yesterday, the whole sort of room was moving, and I suddenly thought, okay, I've got a grounding mat. Put the grounding mat down, feet on it, and throughout the night I did as well. And this morning I wake up and fine.
I remember, I
But
remember when I
yeah,
was channeling the course and my son was 4 months old, my first son. And it started coming through, and you're gonna laugh at this, but I thought it was just gonna be like 10 modules. I know, right? I thought it was gonna be like 10 modules. And I had a friend who did all the filming with me. He's lovely. His name is Wiggs. And I think he stayed at my house for almost a month. Because
wow,
like this more is coming through, and he would just switch on the camera, turn on the lights, and I'd sit down and I remember saying to God at night, I was like, "What are you doing? This thing is huge."
I mean, how many modules? 72
Yeah,
last count?
something
And you
like that.
keep adding, don't you?
Because every group has its own little tweaks that it needs.
Yeah,
You guys are unique, so I
yeah,
try, and that's why it's a hybrid. That's why it's a mastermind as opposed to just an online course.
yeah,
you know? But I remember it coming through and coming through. And I remember saying to God, why all of this? And I remember the answer being that I don't hold anything back. I want
yeah,
them to have everything. And me sitting there going, okay, I'm going to put everything there, but I think it's going to be overwhelming. You can see me telling God off, right? Of course, like I know better, of course. And him saying it's like, it's not all going to be for everybody that does it, but it means that whatever situation they're in, they're going to know what to do.
yeah,
So you don't need the whole of it. You need the bits that are for you in your heart to help people. And then if you find yourself through an up level or through another situation in that space where you're sitting there thinking, I don't know what to do, there will be more than one thing in there that will be like, this is what you do now. This is where you go now. This is how you solve that problem.
yeah.
Um,
But the
you know,
thing was, although the material was spread out over 5 to 6 months, you only released it in pieces, didn't you?
yeah.
Sort of once a month, so that people didn't jump ahead, which was good because knowing me, that's the type of thing I do. I always go to the back,
How do you think I
through.
knew that's the type of thing you do? Because that's the type of thing I do.
Yeah,
Then you end up not, it's exactly what you said. Like the unconscious mind is a tricky bugger. You're
it
like,
is.
I don't have to work on that. And that's exactly what you have to
That is
work on to get the
exactly.
breakthrough.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's not me. And then suddenly it's like, what do you mean? Like I can my version of that was with theta because I avoided working on the financial courses. I was like, I just want to be a healer. I just want to do like intuitive anatomy and disease. I just want to be a healer. And like you, like thing wasn't moving, wasn't moving, wasn't moving, wasn't moving. And I was like, what is going on here? And then I kid you not, I was asked to come in to assist with one of the wealth courses. And my boss at the time was like, I want you to do all the wealth courses because I want you to teach them, but also I want you to be able to hold space for people who are going through this because that's where I'm going. I'm going to build like a business empire type thing.
Yeah.
And I remember like having this big sigh and being like, fine, I'll do them because I want to help you, right? But it's like a waste of my time. And why is everyone on earth so obsessed with material things? And I
And
kid you
guess
not.
what?
Kid you not, 3 or 4 days later, my illnesses started to dissolve because so much of it was financial abuse.
Yeah,
So much for the reason I'd stayed in those horrific situations was because I couldn't create the income to get out of them.
yeah,
And the power that came through, but the mind is like it will move you beyond past what you it thinks is dangerous for you. It'll be like this is not safe, and then you don't work on the things you need to work on. I was the same as you with the shaman one. I didn't want to do the shaman one, and I didn't want to do the witch one. I was like, that's not me. I was really into the whole angel thing and 5D thing. I was like, I don't want to do this. And those were the ones that contained the greatest breakthroughs because those were the ones where not only had I had huge amounts of power, but where I'd had enough influence that I was threatening to other people and I
yeah.
triggered those people. And whilst I could work through the anger or resentment or my issues with God with the angel stuff, I couldn't work through the jealousy, the disappointment, the like the being full blown out on your mission and having
Oh,
to
yeah,
like, all that. They were the ones that held that, you
yeah.
know,
That
and the
really
courage
resonates.
because they're like, I'm coming back no matter what. You kill me, I come back. You know, like those teachers said,
Exactly,
you're the witches, you
exactly.
can burn. Like those ones, like we're coming back. So but yeah, it's you did an incredible job, and I couldn't not only be more proud. It sounds condescending, but it's not. I couldn't be more proud of you.
Thank you. And thank you for creating this phenomenal course. If it hadn't been for this course, I wouldn't be out there. No, I wouldn't be able to help people and animals. So thank you.
Oh, so guys, for everybody listening, all of Sarah's information is below. How you can work with her is below, and yeah, if you're feeling drawn to the course, come and have a conversation. No doubt there will be a way. God makes a way. Or if you feel guided, just join, don't have to talk to me to join. It's not a prerequisite. But I'm so glad you joined us for the interview. And I
So
couldn't,
am I.
it
Thank
was,
you.
Folds, we've
And
done so good. We were so
if
nervous and we did
anyone,
so good.
I know, and if anyone is sitting on the fence, just do it. If you want to chat with me, give them my details. I'm happy to chat to anyone. And if you are in financial difficulty and you haven't got the money, just ask for a miracle and it will happen. It will happen. It happened for me and it will happen for you. And for all the future students, I wish you the best of luck and you'll be absolutely amazing by the end of it. Huge transformations.